This is RomWills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. Don't be afraid to try new things. And I said I would touch on this last week. I'm touching on it now. I'm going to tell you what, on the path to sovereignty, you never know what could be good for you. Like if something new comes up, try it. You never know if it could really help you. I'll use myself for an example because, you know, like I do. I ain't going to tell you to do something and I ain't never do it. And I'll use two great examples. The first one is doing sales. I remember I didn't think I could be good at sales. I just didn't think I would be good at it. I was like, I wouldn't be good at that. But then when I had to like do some vending and sell copies of my first pamphlets, I was very good at it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm actually good at this. I'm actually good at this. But what if I not really did what I needed to do? What if I didn't get out there? What if I said, no, I can't do any sales? I wouldn't have did that. And that eventually led to me doing this. And I'm going to tell you something now. I remember I didn't think I could do videos. Even though I had done like live seminars, stuff like that, I didn't think I could do videos. Look where I'm at now. Don't be afraid to try new things. You know, sometimes you might have to get a little kick. But whatever the case, try it. If something interests you, try it. Now, if you tried and you fail at it, at least you tried at it. At least you know. But then if it's something new, it might be the thing that takes you on the path to sovereignty. It might be the thing. But you have to try it first. You have to get out there and do it first. And look, let me be clear. I always joke about having 1,000 jobs. It's not a shame to do something, try something, and it fails. Because here's what you know. You know you can't do that. You know that you're not interested. And then you can move on from that. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it. But see, unfortunately, you got many men out here, they don't try anything. They don't make that step. They don't make that move. Yeah, they might watch one of my videos or even one of these videos talking about, oh, being sovereign, but then they not going to take the move. They not going to get that education, that certification. They're not going to try to move up on their job. They're not going to try to do their business because they're afraid to try new things. They're afraid to do stuff. They stuck where they at. And they'll be stuck like really the rest of their lives. And indeed, sometimes they'll get mad at somebody else who's moving forward. Like I remember this dude from college. And I mean, he had some, I would say he would stutter. He would stutter, and he might, looking back, he might have been very high functioning autistic person. We would call it neurodivergent. But he would try everything. Even stuttering. People would joan on him, but he would just keep going. He would just keep going, doing stuff. And if I were to really look him up, he's probably doing something, knowing him. Look, and he was some person, even though, like I said, looking back, he probably was on the spectrum, he would try new things. I'm gonna tell you what, you're trying to be sovereign. You're trying to have control over your life in the things that you can outright control and leverage in the things that you can't. You're trying to move up. You don't want to be like the masses out here totally controlled by the days. And sometimes you have to try it. Like using my examples again. What if I never like tried to sell something? I wouldn't have got to the point where I would have my books and they would sell well. I would be able to do vending. Like on my money channel, I talk about vending. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was scared. I was like, oh, I can't hit people up. I can't be doing these things. I lost count. I've done a couple hundred vending shows, and then what if I said I can't do these videos. I can't figure this out. And there really was a time I was like, oh yeah, that's great when I first saw these. Now what if I had jumped in these videos like when they first got started, when YouTube first got started? I would probably be a millionaire now. But see, even someone like me saying all this, I was like, nah, I can't do that. I can't come up with stuff. Here I am. But I wasn't afraid to try new stuff. And then having those 1,000 jobs, part of that was always being willing to try something new. I'm gonna tell you what, you trying to be sovereign, you trying to get to a point where you can control your life, you trying to get to a point where you are doing the things you want to do. It could be something in there. It could be something in that job, in that moment. Like it just popped in my head about this guy I knew who, and I mentioned him before on one of my channels. And he was married to the daughter of this woman who had this, it was kind of like a boys club, boys and girls club, mainly boys and girls club, but more private in the DC area. And they started basketball. And then he was a coach. He had never coached before, but then something came out of him. It was like, oh wow, this is it. You just never know. And like I said, yeah, you can find out something. Yeah, you can find out what you can't do. That's one thing on working my 1,000 jobs. I know the things that it's just not me. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. You might do a job for one day and it's like, you know what, this ain't me. But then you might do another job and you're just like, boom, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. All right? But you try new things. Try new things. Look, take a different path on the way to whatever job you're working on or you doing stuff. You never know what you might see. You never know what you might get into. You just really never know. Even doing this publishing, I really didn't know I could write to that extent. Except I said, you know what, let me try this. Read somebody else's book and, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I say, if this person can write a book, I can write a book. And it actually inspired me. If I ever run into them, I say, you know what, you inspired all of this. And all of this came from that. But I was willing to try something new. So I want y'all to think about that. I want you to think about that. Don't be afraid to try something new. There's no telling where it could take you. So I want y'all to think about that. And as always, keep rising to become the sovereign man that you are meant to be. All right? Peace and blessings, everyone.